All right. Hey guys. So today, for some reason, I've got a different bass. I've got my five string, and I wanted to share some different resources with you. But this is day three of my challenge to get better at sight reading. But I'm also sharing resources with you and trying to do things a different way. Just so you know, this next one is a paid resource. Um, I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but I do pay for this in order to have access to the different tabs. So I'm not sure the legality of sharing the string, but the screen on this, but I'm gonna do it anyway, and hopefully it's not a big deal. But here we go. So this is Ultimate Guitar right here. So what I did was I went to the tabs section, and then now I'm going to, I think I only want the pro ones. Oh, not chords. That is the wrong thing. Let's go back. I think I just want the official. Okay, so here we go. So these are the official ones. I'm not going to do the Eagles. A lot of these songs I already play. So I'm basically going to go to page three because I was already looking at page two and didn't see some that I didn't know. Um, let's see, Miscellaneous Christmas, Seven Nation Army, Here Comes the Sun. I just want to find one that I know has cool bass, but that I don't already know the bass part. I play a lot of these, so they're not really the right challenge. So I'm going to keep going until I find one that I'm like, oh, it'd be cool to know the bass part to this, even though I don't already. But I know a lot of these. I end up playing a lot of them. Okay, there are a few I don't know, but I don't know if they have good bass lines either. So let's keep going. Okay, let's see. But as you can see, they have a lot of different songs on here, and that's kind of the point. Trying to think of one that would be a little bit of a challenge, but not like a super duper challenge. Probably a Michael Bublé might have like a walking line. Let's see. Iron Maiden would be kind of weird to do sight reading like this with. Um, all right. But as you can see, there's a lot of different things on here, and I'm going to show you basically how the resource works once I pull it up. Okay. I guess, gosh, none of these really seem like they're going to have like ridiculous bass parts or anything. I'm trying to find one that's kind of in the middle where it's not all like a lot of open strings and stuff. Okay. Megadeth. That Megadeth might be too hard. I should have figured this out before getting on here. Sorry about this, guys. Okay, we're gonna go with one more and see if there are any others that are kind of in between. I don't know some of these, so I don't know if they'll have good bass parts or not. And then I do know some of the other ones. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Well, let's just click on one to see. So I'm gonna click on Fear of the Dark because I'm not as familiar with this Iron Maiden tune. But this is the way it comes up, okay? So I have it set to where it shows notation. I'm going to show you how I got that on here. So basically, you go to these little dots down at the bottom, and you find notation. So notice I have standard, tablature, or standard plus tablature. So if I just wanted the tablature instead, I could click that, and that's the guitar. Let's find the bass over here. The bass will have, 4 tuning pegs. Okay. So that's the bass part. That's if it were all tab, right? It looks like it's going to be very repetitive and it's a lot of root fifth action, so I probably shouldn't have looked at that. We're probably had to pick a different song. But you could also get standard plus tablature, which is kind of cool. So you have the notation that I'm trying to work on reading over the top of that. And yeah, I think that's a little repetitive, so we're going to go with a different song. But you get the idea. You can do that, or you can just do the standard notation, which is kind of nice because then you don't see the tablature at all, and you have to figure out where to play it on your own, which is what I'm working on. So let's see. We could try Misery Business. Let's see what that one's like. Might be tricky. Let me go down to the bass guitar. Okay. So it looks like we're in F minor. Oh, and that's E flat. So I'm guessing they're tuned a half step down. They aren't. They're tuned to some other tuning. So maybe the 5 string will come in handy here. However, I want to make sure that they didn't do anything weird with the tabs, so I'm going to hit the playback real quick. Yeah. Okay, it's written right, so even though the tuning is different up here, we can play it on the 5-string. Now, this will challenge me a little bit because we have some ledger line notes, although most of them are like, that's a D, but because our key signature says D flat, it'll be a D flat. So on a 5-string bass, that's the 2nd fret on the B string, which is kind of crazy. Okay, I'm going to try to play along with it and see how I do. I may have to zoom out so that the scroll feature works correctly. Okay. Which means I have to pull this closer in, which might be obnoxious over here, but here we go. Okay. So I'm going to give it a try. We're going to see how far I get. A lot of it is still repetitious, so this isn't the best use of practice time, but here we go. 3, 4. Is that F, E flat? Just realized a mistake I was... Okay, this is proving to be hard. I'm gonna look ahead. E flat, E flat, E flat, Okay, that was a little tough. Okay, that was a little rough on me. Basically, with that one, I figured out halfway through that I wasn't following the key signature on certain notes. So I was going like B, C, and it's like, wait, I'm supposed to be doing a B flat. So it took me a minute to realize that, but even though I knew the key signature was that, so just a rookie mistake kind of thing. Okay, so I'm just going to give you kind of pointers of what I was doing there. The hardest thing for me on that one was the 5-string stuff. So every now and then it would go back to a D flat note, and I was playing it on this string by accident. So sometimes I was going back to an A flat instead of a D flat. Little 5-string error from not playing a lot of 5-string lately. But yeah, it's not too bad, but you kind of get the idea. So this has the playback feature, which I'm hoping, they don't worry too much about me doing this, since this is just an educational purpose. But since I played the whole song through, I'm not sure how they feel about that. But that's kind of a good resource if you're wanting to learn specific songs. They don't have every song in the world on there, but they do have a lot of songs, and they have a lot of the official tabs. So I'm going to go back in there, and this time I'm going to try to find a Motown song. So let me share the screen again. I'm going to show you how I'm trying to find one that I don't already know, and that I think, might be challenging without being too challenging. So before I started this, I looked up an official top 100 Motown songs, and I could look up that one, the Jackson 5. I could look up the, I don't think I know that's Stevie Wonder. Maybe I'll just search Stevie Wonder and see what comes up, and I'll try to pick one that I don't know. But that's gonna challenge me more than this did. So I'm not sure if I'll do it full speed or not. Let's see what happens when I pull up Stevie Wonder. Isn't She Lovely comes up first. Superstition. Don't need those. We're gonna keep going, see what other official tabs. Sir Duke. I Just Called to Say I Love You. I don't think I've ever played that one, believe it or not. So that one might be one that I could check if the bass part's kind of cool. And oh, there it is again. So I'll just click on it there if I want to. I Wish I already play a lot. Overjoyed. I've never tried to play it from the bass part, but I've heard it a lot. You're the Sunshine of My Life. I have ended up playing that. Why don't we go with I Just Called to Say I Love You? So let's pull that tab up and see what it looks like. I say tab, but I'm actually looking at the sheet music. Okay, this looks a little challenging. There's some 16th notes right off the bat, and oh gosh, the key signature is going to throw me. I can already tell you all that. It looks like we got B, E, A, D, G flats. So usually to figure out the key, that means we're in the key of D flat. What you usually do is you go to the second to last flat in the order. So you got B, E, A, D. So this will be D flat, and that makes sense. We're starting on a D flat. So what I'm going to do to warm up is just try to remind myself what D flat is as scale wise. So we got D flat, E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat, C, and D flat. So that's 5 flats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 flats. So it's almost harder to remember which ones aren't flat. I feel like. Okay. So I'm going to try it. You might notice that I'm going to call it cheating a little bit, but because I can hear the track, I might be able to adjust if I don't get the rhythm right away. But in this case, I might just look at it for a second and get this. So we've got a quarter note tied to a 16th note. So that's 1 E and a 2. Then there's nothing on the E. So this is really an 8th note that's just like short. So 1 E and a 2 and 3 E. Okay, and then we got to see this. 3 E and a 4. So basically, they're notating it in a difficult looking way, but that first measure is not really that difficult. It's really, if you wanted to do it in an easier visual, you could do a dotted quarter note and then not have this rest here. And then you could have the 8th note still being the same. Then this, instead of being a dotted 8th note, you could just do a quarter note there with a staccato mark above it and then a quarter note at the end. They're being very specific about that. So I can already tell that's going to create some things that'll probably trip me up, where they're notating them harder than they have to be, kind of. Okay, let's see what happens. Is it going to give me a count off? I don't think it'll give me a count off. Do I have the option to? Let's do metronome. I just want to count off. I don't really want to. There we go. Countdown. It's right there. Countdown is probably the right thing. Let's see. Isn't too bad. Got me. This isn't too bad. I didn't have that right. Key change. This would be another key change. Ooh, I missed that fill. Another key change. Ooh, a cha-cha-cha. Nice. Okay, so that one seemed a little bit easier, but then it got harder as I went along. And I missed some of those things, not expecting them, and then the new keys kind of threw me a little bit right away. But not too bad. That was probably passable. If you played that in a band the way I just did, they probably wouldn't fire you, but it could be better, right? So I know that I mentioned a year ago that one of my goals was to be able to play Motown songs up to speed 100%. And that one was easier than a lot of them. Like if you look at some of the ones that James Jamerson was on, that wasn't a James Jamerson line, I don't think. So I'm pretty darn sure that was more, if that's Stevie Wonder, it was probably a little bit later, and probably his bass player. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that one wasn't too bad, and even for a Stevie Wonder song, that was easier to read. I might try to do Overjoyed. I'm more familiar with the song with Overjoyed, but I've never played the bass part. I'm really more familiar with a Victor Wooten version. So let me do this one, Overjoyed, and then that'll probably be the last thing that I will do today. Let me share the screen with you guys one more time, and we will look at this one. And like I said, if you want to have access to stuff like this is ultimateguitar.com, and this is on the pro end of their things to be able to do this and have all these options where I can take away the tablature and just show the sheet music. So if you want the ability to do that, to practice like this, like I am, or if you want the tab instead of the way I'm doing it, they have those options. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do before I start is I'm going to look at the key signature. Okay, it looks like we're in E flat, but we're starting on a D flat note, so that's kind of interesting. E flat's the same as C minor. Could it be C minor? I don't think it's in minor. Okay, I think this is just like a little intro, and that right where it says verse 1, that's an E flat, so that lets us know we're probably in the key of E flat. Looks like we're going to have some interesting things here, little slides and stuff going on, little 16th notes, and yeah, there's going to be some rhythmic stuff. But it's a slower tempo, so I might actually have the ability to get some of it. But I might be like looking at the screen like this because I've got the size small so that the scrolling works correctly. If I zoom in the screen, it may not work correctly. In fact, there's a zoom feature on here. Never used it. Let's do that. That's going to make it easier for my eyesight. Let's do that. I wish we could make the tab part wider, but oh well, that's okay. I'm going to try it. So I still got the countdown selected, I think. So hopefully it'll start with the countdown. Good. Uh-oh, I lost my sound. Half notes, yay! Such a pretty song. It'll get harder in a second. That's an A. Ooh, I missed that. I missed the rhythm. There's a low E flat. Some of these rhythms are getting me. Triple litra. One E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E. I missed those again. Those would be flats, not B's. Oh no. Oh, that's an E flat. Yeah, I missed that entire ending. Okay, that was a little bit of a challenge. So it's another one of those things where these ballads, they can be a little deceiving, right? They can be easy at first and then ramp up the difficulty kind of just with fills and other rhythms that honestly some of those rhythms should have been a little bit easier for me to lock in with because I realized the drums were kind of doing the same rhythm. But there was a lot of 16th note syncopations, the 1E kind of thing, but they had ties into them. So this is more of those like rhythms that I'm saying I would like to be able to read fluently without getting caught up on them. But I'll show you the screen one more time just so we can point out areas that totally got me, but then I started to figure out about halfway through kind of. Okay, so let's scroll down a little bit. This rhythm right here, 1E and a 2E, right? So we got 1E and a 2 is all that one note because there's a tie tying those together, right? And then it slides into here on the E after beat 2. So 1E and a 2E, and then beat 3, we're changing note. It's an A flat instead of an A now. And that's just going to be the same kind of rhythm from the beginning, 1E and a 2, and then there's the E after. So these are little challenges in a lot of Motown songs where there's ties and then something kind of happens later. So there's a little bit of syncopation going on there, and that makes it tricky to visually see. And then also going back and forth between 16th notes and then doing these little triplets here. So 16th notes are going to be 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E, and a triplet's going to be triplet, triplet, triplet. So your brain has to go back and forth between splitting evenly into 4 and splitting evenly into 3. So it just takes a lot of work on that. And then here's that rhythm again, 1E and a 2E. So 1E and a 2E and a 3E and 3E and a 4E. So that one's kind of the same rhythm that happened here, just halfway through the measure instead of at the beginning of it. So then knowing when to do that rhythm, and then, you know, really quickly seeing the stems here to tell you what those other rhythms are. It's just a lot of switching back and forth, and it's really about being able to recognize that stuff faster. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed practicing with me today. So that's the resource for today is Ultimate Guitar. I do pay to have the ability to take away the tab, to even view the pro arrangement. So like you can see other people's free arrangements on there. So it's still a good resource even as the free version. But the pro gives you the option to read the notes as notation, which is why I'm paying for it, basically, so that I can pull up songs like that and practice reading with them. So that is exactly what I think it's worthwhile. And it's not that expensive per year. So check into that if that's something you're interested in. But I think I do like the annual subscription when I do it. But yeah, let me know in the comments below if you found this useful. And like I said, you don't have to be doing the same challenge that I'm doing. So this is more like an accountability thing. So I'm on day 3 now, and I'm going to go for 7 days just with posting videos about it. But I want you guys to post in the comments, what is your challenge that you're doing for yourself? And if you stumble upon this halfway through the week, feel free to start at day 1, comment on that video saying, hey, I'm working on this. Then you can watch the second video and see what I'm up to, and then post in the comments what you were practicing on. But hopefully this encourages you guys to play for 7 days in a row at practicing something that's new for you, that'll push you ahead as a musician or as a U-bass or a bass guitar player. But yeah, just let me know if you find this useful, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.